stops, no one knows. We're going head into the unknown. Na, 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 na.
Hi, everybody. Long time no see. Once again, take a couple days away from YouTube and everything catches fire. Hello, everybody. Hi, Dynamite. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Python Chick. Princess Megan Elsa. Hey, Delana. Water Lovin' Dog. Hey, Natasha. Hi, Lynn. Dustin. Okay, I'm gonna have to go through and read your comments. I see that you've got some stuff going on. Hi, Unmasked Truth. Hey, Johnny. Hey, ATS. Hi, Dina. Hey, Amanda. Did I say hi to Amanda already? Dolly Bear. Aw. Hey, Spicy. Hey, Tactical Dragonfly. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Chaz. I always say that wrong. Shazzer? Or is it Shazar? Shazar. Give a hoot. Trust in no one or nothing. The one thing this case has taught me. Ugh, that's what YouTube has really taught me. Ugh. Oh, goodness. Hi, my Sharky Soul Sister. Hey, Crafty Chris. Hey, Water Loving Dog. Let's see who's up here. See, Dub. Hey, Tony. Music City Mom. Okay, let me go back down. Okay, you guys, I honestly have a headache. Today has been crazy. I know that most of you guys are probably all caught up on everything that's happened. If you're not, then we can go over it. Hi, Sleuthy Goosey. I stole a bunch of your documents that you posted on Twitter, FYI. So thank you for that. I got some questions. I got lots and lots of questions. So I want to preface this live. Hi, Malicious Intent. Hi, Marshall. Petunia. Hey, J.O. Salty Say. Spicy Sugar. A malicious intent. Hey, Lady V. Malicious intent. I have no malicious intent for this live. So I want to. My head is kind of all over the place. I'm going in like 1,000 directions with what I think is going on. So I need to say out loud that everything I say probably during this live while we talk about the happenings of today is purely me speculating in 1,000 directions, because I have my gut instinct here is saying something is kooky, something is wrong. So just to recap, anybody who doesn't know, Richard Allen was supposed to have a hearing today. He was brought down from Westville Prison, and his attorneys bounced. They said, we're done, we're quitting, we're leaving, and they withdrew as his counsel. So as of right now, Richard Allen has no attorneys, and he was sent back to Westville. The judge said just send him back. They have now vacated the trial date of January 8th, so we have no trial coming, which I know many people thought that we wouldn't have a trial in January anyway, but I thought even if it was postponed, it was going to be postponed maybe till summer. But now with him having to get an entirely new staff or new set of attorneys, I'm just like, I don't even know. We're talking 6.5 years already, and now add a couple more. That's how I feel. Tiffany, I know I'm a mess. Hi, everybody that just came in. I'm sorry that I don't get a chance to say hi to every single one of you guys. I literally am just kind of like blown away. So I'm gonna tell you guys the secret that I did something I did today, and you guys can't tell anybody. So just make sure that you don't tell anybody. I was so wrapped up in what was happening that I completely forgot that my tiny human had a minimum day at school, and realized, oh shit, I need to go pick up a kid. So I had to call the school and be like, hey, have him come to the office. I'm just running a few minutes late. Because I was just like, what the F is going on here? Yeah, you guys don't tell anybody that I did that, though, please. Because that's how I was just so engrossed in everything that was going on. I was like, I can't even. No, so what I've heard is that both lawyers were there, but only one of them actually showed up into the courtroom. So Bob Mata, the defense attorney from Defense Diaries podcast, was there. Julie Melvin was there. Some of the reporters I was following on Twitter, they said that both attorneys were there. So that's happened to you when you were wandering around Kroger. You're like, oh, here's just normal day, and then you're like, oh crap. It's a tough one. Yeah, it happens. Thanks, been there. I was like, oh gosh. And then I couldn't be like, so I was totally waiting for Richard Allen's hearing in Delphi, Indiana, and I just forgot to pick him up. So essentially, the attorneys got there. They were in chambers, and Judge Gold came out. If you guys, okay, I'll ask you guys this. There's like only like 3 minutes. So if you haven't seen it, I know everybody and their mother has like played it that I've seen today. I've watched it like 7 times. Where Judge Gold comes out, she's out there for like 3 minutes, essentially just says, hey, change of plans. The attorneys are withdrawing from the case. One of them has done so verbally. The other one is going to do it in written motion. And this means that we have to vacate the trial date. She wants to keep the October 31st motions hearing. She asked the defense attorneys to work with their successors, whoever that may be. They seemed willing, even though they don't have to. All they're legally required to do is hand over the discovery, and they'll hand that back to the state, and then the state has to hand that to them. So I think that's also interesting. I don't think they hand it directly to the new defense attorneys. They have to give it back to the state, and then the state has to transfer it to them. So what is the state like? See, this is telling you I'm going to be all over the place with this because my brain is a disaster. What if the prosecutors are like, see, look, here's all that stuff that they kept trying to say we never gave them. It's right here in this new batch of discovery that's given over to the new defense attorneys. Oh, really? Hi, Sleuth Mom. Hi, Corey. I know everybody coming in. This is just, I'm seriously concerned that absolutely zero video showing RA entering the courtroom or talking through the courthouse hallways. We have seen him every single other hearing, so why not today? Well, he had no attorney to represent him. So they just, since they were in chambers, the attorneys, one of them came into the courtroom, got Richard Allen's wife and his mom, and brought them out into the hallway, essentially told them what was going on. I think they said that it was the mom that went back in, got their coats, and they bounced. They left. That was it. The judge comes in and says, yeah, we don't have any, I'm surprised we don't have anything like going into the courtroom would be more concerning. But does this courthouse have a jail with it? I don't actually know. Because he was already transferred. I don't know. I'd have to look into that. So I'm trying not to put my tinfoil hat on. I really am. I'm really trying to go, okay, there's something else going on. But I know I listened to quite a few people talking about this today, and a lot of them are like, the attorneys come in, or the attorneys like put out this memorandum, they cause this giant shit show, and then they leak evidence, and then they're just like, oh, sorry, we're out, like we're leaving, good luck. And I just don't, my gut just says something's wrong here. It did with you're sporting the hat. Even with the leak stuff, which one's in trouble, wife Lilith? Though, I mean, you think, well, Baldwin. So Baldwin got an attorney, and that's why I said I grabbed some docs from Sleuthy's Twitter. If you guys don't follow Sleuthy on Twitter, I don't know, you're missing out. With the leaks to begin with, I was like, there's something wrong here. Like, why is this even happening? They want everybody to think it's the defense, and then immediately, like, even on my very first video when we talked about it before any of the MRM stuff came out, before that I was already getting comments that it was the defense team that leaked it. It was the defense team that leaked it, and everybody was like, well, does anybody have proof of this? And then we get the whole murder sheet goes and gets interviewed, and they've got the Mark guy that's sending them stuff. Now we've got this other guy, R, that's committed suicide. Right. So this is where I'm at. I almost feel like they're like, no, something's wrong here. It's argumentative almost behind the scenes. And this is pure conjecture. I have no idea what happened behind the scenes, but it's like, they're back there and they're like arguing about it. Like, no, this doesn't make any sense. And then, they're just like, fuck it. Like, I'm leaving. Because here's the other thing is Baldwin was the one who has the connection to the leak, to the MRM. And the other attorney doesn't. So why does he leave? Because he knows something's fishy. Like, he's just like, no, this is bullshit. Or she's threatening him and saying, like, no, you guys are just going to have to go. I shouldn't say she's threatening them. That's not the right words. But she's like, no, you guys are either going to walk away, or this is what's going to happen. Do you really? Have you put those on your channel yet? The attorney looked mad. They all looked pissed. Well, it says that they quit. So it was weird because there was a motion that was filed this morning under seal from Richard Allen. And obviously that would be, it could technically be from Richard Allen. He could have written something saying, hey, I like my attorneys. I don't want anything to happen to them. I don't want them to go. Or it could have been Richard Allen's attorneys. But either way, whatever was submitted this morning was under seal. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. They're submitting something under seal right before they go to court. I will always quit before getting fired. It's true. And she's like, I'm going to have to do this, this, and that in front of everybody. And they're like, you're not doing shit. Before you fire us, we're leaving. But I can't imagine that after everything they put into it, that they would just be willing to walk away. But it doesn't matter. They're going to do it anyway. They could do that anyway. So you think that there's like a plea deal and like, hey, you guys leave and we won't sanction you? He could be in trouble regardless. That's what I'm thinking, Delane. I'm wondering. It's freaking wild. It is freaking wild. And here's the thing. If this was just like a regular old case, that everything is kind of going according to plan, and this came up and it happened, and then they decided to withdraw, I think all of us would just be like, oh, okay, well, now he's going to have new attorneys, and they withdrew, and so on and so forth. But this case is so full of crazy twists and turns and paths and rabbit holes and gopher holes over here, and just what did Carter call them? Tentacles? Did he call them tentacles? Is that what he called them? He called them something like that. Well, we're on our third judge, second prosecuting attorney, and now a second set of defense attorneys. Then we have at least 7 people dead surrounding this case, including an FBI guy and a polygraph expert. And just some random leakers from Facebook. Yeah, I don't think he will. I would be surprised. I think Judge Gold should step down and DA office step down. Richard Allen will not get a fair trial. This is not justice for the girls. I hope the federal judge comes in. I'm not concerned with the judge. I don't know why we don't have a special prosecutor. McClelland should not be prosecuting this case. Bottom line. And I think with the disorganization of Discovery going to go into the defense team already proves that they don't have the manpower and the capability to handle a case of this magnitude, and they should not be handling it. Not to mention his connection to the families. Yeah, and Holman. Holman is the one who's assigned to investigate the leak. Hold on, I have a tiny human. Give me 1 second. Okay, sorry. Too many secrets. Too many secrets. There's so many secrets. Yeah, if he dies, there's no there. They'll just say it was him, whether he was ever found guilty in a court of law or not. My king of queens, my king of kings. Holman is one of the lead investigators, but he shouldn't be investigating a leak when he's being accused of being a shady investigator. And I'm not saying he is a shady investigator. What I'm saying is the defense team never got to go in front of the judge and prove or not prove that he is shady. So why would he be investigating the defense team and a leak from the defense team? No, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I know that. I know. I'm just, like I said, I'm all over the place. King of Kings. I'm all over the place. My head is spinning. I'm done with true crime this week. It's done. Hey, Tom. That's what I said a few lives ago and commented or posted today. He'll end up like Epstein and nobody will get answers. Hey, KW10. I wonder if next team follows same as past team. Yeah, so then, well, they can give them all of their research, and they could follow in the same, have the same defense strategy, but they could also just come up with a totally different one. And then we also don't know who they're going to be. So who are they in bed with? Yeah, right? Corruption. Shit. My tinfoil hat theories, I'm going all over the place. Here's what you want to know, where I'm kind of stuck right now. I think that this friend of, okay, we should probably go through the document first, but essentially here's where I'm at. I think this friend of Baldwin got access to this stuff, either told somebody that he had access to it, took it, whatever, however you want to say it. That person was like, hey, this is what we're going to do, and planned it with other friends that might be on the other side of things. And they used it to get rid of this defense team. That's where I'm at right now. Now, in 20 minutes, that might totally change. That's why I said at the beginning of the live, I need you guys to understand, like, I'm going through so many things. But that's what I'm thinking right now is, like, the timing is so bad for me. The timing is so off. They put out this big memorandum that's really just throws the prosecution. And I said this during the leak live before this even happened today. They put out this whole memorandum They put all this work into all this research. They've got all these people. They got all these things. They're quote unquote winning in the court of public opinion, because not that they swayed everybody, but they have swayed some, which is all they necessarily needed to do. They needed to know if that theory would work and if they could present it. Now, then the prosecutors have to respond, and they respond with these affidavits essentially saying that the defense was right. And what did they say in the one? They said wasn't all true or something. The way they worded it was like, but part of it's true. So then the prosecution's going to be pissed, and the investigators are going to be pissed. And we all know that there's influence going on. We all know that. I don't think anybody in here is going to be like, nope, these people, all these cops are just, these are all good guys. They're all just righteous. I just can't imagine anybody that's followed this case at all feels that way. Now, I don't know the defense attorneys. I have never looked into their history. I've never looked into their shady dealings. So I can't say what kind of attorneys they are. There's the whole stereotype about defense attorneys. So do what you got. But I feel like they were set up. I feel like they were set up. They needed to get rid of them because this wasn't going to work. And the defense attorney said they still had 30 to 40 depositions to do. And they were calling the prosecution out and the investigators out on all their shit. They called them out on the Purdue professor. They called them out on reopening the investigation. And I know that's like the whole conspiracy. That's why I said I'm not even a conspiracy person, you guys. I mean, besides JFK, because that was a total conspiracy. But like most cases, I really believe that things are pretty cut and dry. And I think that law enforcement in general is doing it to do the right thing, that they typically follow the rules most of the time to get to the guy that is culpable, and they get him, and the prosecutors come in and they take care of it. I think our justice system is okay. People say it's the best in the world. I don't necessarily agree with that, but it's bullshit for you to mention I don't know, you might be talking to somebody in chat because I'm not paying attention, but I didn't. I'm just saying I don't know if they have any. I have no idea. I've never looked at them one way or the other. I think that there's something off. There's something wrong here. And why did both attorneys leave? Only one of them was going to be in trouble. I don't even know if I have one. Coffin never sucks. I don't know if I have a voice of reason today because I am totally floored. Wow, my Jen Liu. Right, it's not the worst, but I mean there's shady shit that happens. I try to always think horses before zebras, but damn if this doesn't look like a zebra this time. Right, Ginger Snaps. I'm like, I just am not. I'm feeling there's something wrong here. The thing with Elvis is not a good look. Now that's the other thing. Do we ever get access to the rest of that information? Will we ever see an Odin report? I did. So too. We've had people on trial dismiss their attorneys, but that's not what this is. This is really messed up and totally crazy. I feel like they were told, like, you've got to go. You can't, this isn't going to work. Let me pull up I had like a whole thing because, I took a couple days off of doing lives and did some pre-recorded stuff. And I had like this whole thing that I was working on for you guys with Delphi. And there's just no way my brain is like, ain't happening today. Because I'm so down the conspiracy rabbit hole that I don't know if the defense was threatened. So I was watching Sleuth Intuition at the time, who was about to do the, play the hearing. And I was on Twitter at the same time, and it popped up that everything was done. And so I typed it in his chat, and they were all like, what's your source? Why do we believe you? I'm like, just go to Twitter. Law and crime is is saying it. But like nobody believed it. Everybody thought it was fake news, that I was like a troll that came in and was like, no, Richard Allen's attorneys quit. All right, let's see. So Baldwin hired his own attorney, which is the smart thing to do. And they're public defenders, so there's no refund of any money. Yeah. And all right, let me find page 1. I did not put these in order. Of course, why would I put them in order? That would just make too much sense. Well, I don't like normally like hang out in that chat, so it was probably somebody like total random. Like there's like, who are you and what are you doing here? All these years and nothing about a cult until now. I find that shady as hell. I don't believe RA will make it to trial. Then it's done like they want. That's okay. Dustin, was David the brother that was flannel shirt guy, or was it Dan? Does anyone know who it was that took his own life? I can't find it. Yeah, his name is. People are saying it on other streams. I just feel so bad because I'm like, I don't know. If the guy did this to himself, how do we know that he even has anything to do with this case? And then we're just like talking about him on YouTube. So it just makes me feel really bad for his family. His initials are RF. He was part of at least one Facebook group that I know of. Hi, Shane. Yeah, which is just stupid. Oh, like, well, oh, murder sheet said. Oh, who gives a shit? And I'm sorry, I'm getting really bitter about that whole thing. I'm getting really bitter about that. I don't like being called the child and then I need to be babysat. Oh, here. Sleuthy Goosey. I don't know if you're still here, but like I don't know if you heard me tell you that I took your documents. Have you heard the evidence that was collected from the case was left on a cop's car and he forgot it was there and drove off and they had to pick up off the road? I did hear that, Shelly. I don't remember where I heard that though, or if there was ever any like proof behind it, but I did hear it. Yeah, and I'm telling you, if so, to feed into my own conspiracy, I'm going to say, if we find out that the prosecutors are continuing down this investigation rabbit hole, right, where, you know, they went back and they got Patrick Westfall and they went back and they talked to his son and they're looking for his alibi. If the prosecutors and the investigators still continue to do that, even though these defense attorneys aren't there, I think that's going to be interesting. Because why would they need to do it, right? If they're only doing it to kind of curb what the defense is saying. Okay. I don't either. No, KW10 popular on Reddit, I believe, and I don't know that for sure. I've only heard that. And then on the Facebook group, I believe that most of the stuff was shared with the Mark guy, and Mark was the one who posted it in the Facebook groups because he's the one I actually know that was actually posting stuff. Oh no, it's okay. It's just tough because I'm like, hey, Mary Jane. It's become that way. It's like not like any web sleuth is gonna solve this. Like, then what are you doing? Isn't that the whole point of what you're doing? Thanks, Todd. That's what I said. It could change in 20 minutes. So I don't want like everybody like, oh my gosh, she just lives in the conspiracy world. It rubbed me really bad today. I was like, no way. That they actually got what they wanted. They got them gone. And that's what they wanted. They wanted them gone. To be in prison. Yeah, to be in prison before ever going to trial. You think that he just stepped down because like his good old buddy Baldwin stepped down or was gone? I don't know what that was, but something just fell. Hold on, I gotta look at something. Because that could be, let me see that statement one more time. Yeah, okay, so it was. That's what I was thinking. So Baldwin verbally said, I'm done, I'm out. And then Rozzy is or Ross, how do they say it? It's Rozzy to me, but I know that's not how you say it. Rosie is the one that's supposed to be submitting the written motion. So that could be right. Like, hey, Baldwin said, okay, I'm leaving. And then the other one's like, yeah, I'm not sticking around. I'm not sticking around for this bullshit. You guys screwed him. Why don't you have... Hold on, I gotta get Jen Lou a wrench. I don't know why that channel, her second channel, doesn't have them, but I thought it did. Let's do it from my phone. Where'd you go, Jen Lou? There you are. Okay. Sorry, you guys. I saw Steve comment. Are you Steve that went out there and did all the measurements? I was watching all your stuff the other day too. I was like, you were in it. You did all the measurements and showed like how tall he would have been compared to you. Are you that, Steve? If you are, people need to watch that because I thought it was very important. It's almost like, where do you go from here, Shane? Like, what do you do now? You just start over and like everything that you think, it's like, oh, okay, I guess we'll never have an answer for that. If that one's just gone, who cares? Anybody who thought maybe the Odinist had something to do with it, too bad. Just like Ron Logan died. Any of you guys that thought Ron Logan was the bad guy, too bad. Yeah, and they were proving it. Hi, Miss Marple, by the way. No, different one. No, this is yes. Yes. This is, so there's that Steve, that's True Crime Web. He does like the reenactments. He often goes on Mob Crew. This Steve I actually just found like last week, and I was like binging all of his videos. He goes out to the bridge and like takes measurements and shows exactly like the tree, and then like how you could tell where the height is, but then he's like talking you through like how he's doing it, so it's not like just like, hey, look, here's me and here's what that guy would be, and look, we're different. Like talks you through the whole thing. So I was like learning. I liked it. All of this is so bad. Why do you think they quit? I'm telling you right now, I think that they were pushed out. I think this was done on purpose. I think the leak was done on purpose. I think the leak was exposed on purpose. I think the people who were involved in the leak are on purpose. I think it's all on purpose. I don't think this is coincidental right now. Can one of the mods grab Steve's channel? Well, yeah, and like, who's going to be his defense team, and whose pocket are they going to be in? That's concerning to me. I was like, Bob Mata, you need to go get licensed in Indiana and take on the case. Death threats, of course, they would likely. The old defense will inform the new defense who the killer is, but crap, more time for RA to go crazy, and yes, that's on purpose. I agree with that too. That's on purpose. Right, Freckled Joy? And I think that's why it's hard to, there are so many rabbit holes because everybody knows that there's something wrong. There's something off. Something isn't adding up, like the math ain't mathin'. And I think everybody knows that, and that's why everybody is stuck. Well, I think the beginning of it has to do with statistics, to be honest with you. If you look at the statistics of this crime in itself, it's very, very low. And then if you look at just how it doesn't add up, there's just things that don't make sense. We can't let it go. And then we end up fighting with each other because we're like, no, we think it's like, it has to be this way. And then somebody else is like, no, but I've done all this research and it has to be this way. And it's like, it very well could be neither one of those. And then we all just end up with no answers. End up with no resolution to any of them. They are not bound by the gag order down dirty and dishy. They are not bound by the gag order, but they are bound by attorney-client privilege. So they could, I can't believe that we don't actually have a statement from them yet, to be honest with you. But I feel like they're pissed. I feel like they are pissed. I don't feel like they went in there like, oh, ha, 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 we're going to quit. We're going to quit. I feel like they are pissed. They got pushed out. They know they got pushed out. All right, so let's go through this document because I think this document's important because it does shed some light on this whole leaky stuff. Yeah, I don't know how anybody could think there's not something going on. I think the problem is we don't all agree on what the something off is, and that's what causes the fights. But I think the bottom line is we all can agree there's something wrong here. This does not add up. The players are not right. There's something wrong. It's like you need just like banish everybody who's been involved in this case. Get rid of all of them. Start over. Like literally start over with an entirely new cast of characters. They're not still bound by the gag order though. But I mean, what are they going to, they can't say anything because most of their stuff is attorney-client privilege. So there's really not going to do anything. No, I don't know her background. Like I said, I've never looked into all of those people. The only reason I know Nick's background somewhat is because I was researching him I have a family tree on all of the Delphi stuff because I couldn't keep track of who was who back in the day. So I made an entire family tree of all the players, and that's how I actually even realized who the hell that guy was. But here's the thing. So Elvis has this weird confession about spit, but are we ever going to see an Odin report? Are we ever going to find out what Honest Murphy asked him, why he asked about spit? We're never even going to know. I think so. I think so too. And I know that this is like super unpopular opinion, and a lot of people are going to be like, oh my gosh, that channel is all about conspiracies. I'm really not trying to be. I'm just telling you, this does not make sense. Thanks, Steve. Change of venue and a special prosecutor. Well, they technically were getting a jury in from another county anyway. So they were going to have somewhat of a change of venue. But like I said, there's no... Do I think he's guilty? I don't know. And I think that's my issue. And we're going to talk, I'll talk about this too. I'll talk about that. Let's go through this document first so I can wrap my mind around some of this. But I want to talk to you guys about these crime scenes because I asked some questions recently in a Facebook group that belongs to Delphi After Dark. And you guys know that Rick Snay says he had the photos, so on and so forth. And I had some questions about the photos and he was kind enough to answer them for me. But the answers were interesting and I want to talk to you guys about why. But first, let's wrap up this part. Like I said, this just threw me for a loop today. So like I was telling you, Baldwin went and got himself an attorney. His name is Hennessy. Yeah, I don't know if the dude's guilty. I couldn't answer that if you wanted me to. I don't know. But I can tell you right now, if you put me on a jury and I only had what's been presented to the public so far, there's no way I'm sending that man to prison. Obviously, we don't have everything that they might have, but I'm saying with what we have right now, ain't happening. There's a couple things that I need concrete. And when I get those things, I'll be done. I need somebody to be able to confirm one way or the other what time he was there. Because I listen to these streams of other people talking, and I'm telling you, they're always like, he even admitted he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. And one of the things that I believe in that memorandum is, how the fuck do you trust Dan Doofus, who's up on the stage looking at the guy who he literally just talked to at a grocery store? And he's not like, hey guys, I just talked to that guy 3 days ago, 5 days ago, whatever the hell it was. No, I thought she killed herself. That was where I kind of always thought she did. I know that was an odd one too. I'm telling you guys, I am not a conspiracy person. I'm pretty I like just straight facts and just straight down the road. This is where this is the information we've got. This case, and this is probably why I stopped even digging into it, because it's like, once you're in it, I feel like I can never leave. It's like the Hotel California. Okay, so like I said, he hired his attorney. He used to be, hold on. Lesenby used to be a prison guard. He knew all about Odinism, yet played dumb. Whatever. I'm mad now. Whatever happened today, the judge was well aware of it, regardless of her acting as if it was a big surprise. She approved the motion to withdraw with no questions asked. I don't think so. No, I think that they were in chambers for a while. Miss Marple. Well, yeah, I think that people just I think there's like a safety in thinking that our justice system is great, and that a prosecutor and a judge aren't going to allow all of this type of corruption. And, that's just the stuff from movies and TV shows. And it's like, no, in the real world, people are not, are inherently good, but there are bad people. And I've said this on every one of them. Some of the people that I even would say would be involved in this probably aren't bad people. They just don't have a choice. If they don't want to move to another state or another country to start over, they would destroy their lives, destroy their families' lives. Look at what's happening here. This is literally what I have been saying. Like, you go against their grain and you will be admonished. And that's how I feel. And say Jerry Holman is the nicest, greatest guy in the whole world. That guy can't do anything. He cannot change anything. He has no say so. He has no, you see what I'm saying? Like, he just has to go with, this is what's happening. Otherwise, he better go get a new life. Yeah, look at Thomas. We never even got to go through his lawsuit and all the deaths. That's tough, because I think any case that you have for a long time, that takes a long time to go to court, obviously going to be surrounded with a lot of death. But a lot of really fishy death is, that's weird. Hi, Allie. It's really it's really sad how many people are stating that Ari is guilty like it's fact. Any one of those people could be on the jury. He has not been tried yet. Zero evidence presented. State has not proved guilt. And that's what I mean. I think that we want to believe that the prosecutors got the right guy. They would have done all their due diligence, right? Like, they would have figured it out. And it's like, no. We've already, the defense, think of them whatever you want. Think of them as, out of a Cracker Jack box. I don't care. The prosecution proved themselves that they didn't finish investigating this case, or that particular tentacle of this case, when they went back and started re-interviewing people. If you were done and it was closed, there would have been no reason to hide who the professor was, no reason to go give Patrick Westphal a polygraph test this year. None of that would have been important. They had to go back and do that because they knew they didn't do it before. So take away the defense. The prosecution, by doing that, has already admitted they did not follow every avenue. That, to me, you don't need to be investigating anything else. You don't need to investigate any more in this case. You don't need to investigate anything to do with this leak. And you sure as hell shouldn't be investigating the defense team that just accused you of all of these things. And you're basically admitting that you've done. That's where I'm at. Yes. I don't know why anybody can say that he's 100% guilty. There's nothing in the timeline that proves that he was there at that time. There's nothing there that tells it. There's nothing there that proves it. And then you have the bullet, this magic bullet that I can tell you, anybody that I've talked to that knows anything about guns, and you know it ain't me, tells me that that's junk. It's not going to work because it was not actually fired. I just thought, like, we finally got cameras in the courtroom. I was so ready to watch it. And then, what? No, sorry, not happening. Oh, yeah, a magic bullet. And here's, okay, so funny thing, the one big case that I think was a huge conspiracy is JFK with the magic bullet. And now all of a sudden, here we go, another case where I'm like, this shit's fucked up. Like, there's something going on here. Why are all the flyers are still posted in the businesses? Potentially criminal. Thank you for the super chat. I have a high trust in the majority of law enforcement. That's right. They're going to finally allow cameras, then I quit. I'm out of here. I'm not going to be there for that shit. Okay. So this is a memorandum regarding the possible disqualification or sanctions. Any issues or concerns regarding representation should be focused on the Sixth Amendment in Article 1, Section 13, rights of the accused. Continuity of counsel is critical for adequate representation. And this is what I said the other day. I did, in no way, shape, or form did I think that she would remove them because he liked them. He counted on them. That's where I'm at. Like, I shouldn't even be doing this. I'm wondering now if Abby and Libby recording that man on the bridge and the voice truly helped the case or make it more difficult. Well, that's a great question. And then I don't even want to tell you guys the rabbit hole I went down about this damn recording and how easy it is. I shouldn't even tell you because we're already down. We're already so far down. I don't want to send anybody like over the top. Okay. Must be given with consideration. Mr. Allen has developed a strong and trusting bond with Mr. Baldwin. Disqualification of either of his court-appointed attorneys would greatly prejudice his right to counsel and a timely trial. Oh, look at you, 11 months. Where's Shelly? Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate it very much. What? Oh, Allie. I don't even know. Maybe I need to write to Richard Allen and just start talking to him. If you guys follow the Gannon Stout case with Letitia Stout, you guys have got to check out Alex Erickson's channel. She's been having some crazy interactions with Letitia herself. 13 months. Oh, Mal, she got you, girl. Down the rabbit hole. I know it does. It does. It's just definitely a rabbit hole. Oh, it's okay. You can be just a baby. I like it. And time for another rabbit hole. Well, okay, I'll just tell you what I was researching, but I'm not going to tell you any more than that. I was researching how easy it is to upload, like, to a Snapchat that isn't actually, like, time-stamped. Like, say you didn't actually post it. Like, you just you had it, like, in the Snapchat app. You just had it there. You know what I mean? Like, I can take pictures in Snapchat, but I don't actually post them. Or videos in the Snapchat, but I don't actually post them. I was looking at how easy that is, and then how you can not have a timestamp. That's what I said. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. I'm not going there. Anyway, okay, involving the accused right to counsel of choice. Sixth Amendment guarantees that in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall have the assistance of counsel for his defense. Sixth Amendment rights. I think Bob Motta was in here the other day telling us that too. It's like, no, this is his Sixth Amendment right to his counsel of choice. The authority to remove appointed counsel is limited and has resulted in reversals. Other jurisdictions see all of these. Wrong one. This is a trial may not remove a defendant's counsel. A trial court may not remove a defendant's counsel merely over a disagreement regarding the conduct of defense counsel. That's another case. A court may remove a defendant's attorney on the basis of gross incompetence, physical incapacity, or contemptuous conduct. I don't even know what that is. It sounds bad though. That's another case. In the present case, yeah. So this is basically just saying, like, you can't just go ahead and just remove counsel when this is the person that they want. Now, disqualification of counsel is an extreme remedy for any alleged or perceived violation of a court's order. Most, if not all cases concerning disqualification of counsel involve conflicts of interest. There is no case allowing disqualification when an individual not part of the attorney's office or staff surreptitiously purloins information from the attorney and disseminates it without permission or the attorney's knowledge. Contemptuous. Really? Seems like they could make that a lot easier. Like how you just spelled it, Scrabble. Irony, Scrabble spelled that for me so I could understand it. I got you, Scrabble. I got you. So basically, there's no case precedent whatsoever stating that a defense attorney or any attorney should be disqualified and removed based on this type of scenario where some other third party just comes in and takes the stuff and then and disseminates it. Furthermore, any sanction first requires proof of knowing, willful, or intentional conduct, as do the rules of professional conduct. Here the attorney's trust and office were violated without his knowledge. Rule 1.6 requires disclosure by any attorney, not someone that purloined information without the attorney's knowledge. Commentary 16 to that rule states, a lawyer must act competently to safeguard information relating to the representation of a client against inadvertent or unauthorized disclosure by the lawyer or other persons who are participating in the representation of the client or who are subject to the lawyer's supervision, like your own employees. Like I run the law firm and, you know, you're my employee. This is somebody who came in. They didn't actually work there. The disseminators do not fit that definition. Attorney Baldwin did nothing wrong. He was snookered. He was snookered. Yeah, I think so. They're probably sitting back going, he was snookered and abused, which reversed the conviction. Hannah versus State reversed the conviction because the trial court erroneously disqualified counsel when the accused had waived any perceived conflict. This is interesting. So a counsel person was disqualified, and the decision by that court had to be reversed because it was erroneous. But they weren't technically disqualified. They stepped down themselves. Snookered. I know you're going like snookered. That's interesting. Like, would that be a reason that they had to step down? I ran across a lady and she said it's someone important in the community. Abby's teacher's brother. Don't know what kind of teacher figure though, and described a garage and an Impala. I wonder what is that in regards to? I was named after a letterboard. No, I am not at all. I am not a fan of the prosecution. It doesn't make sense. They would not want them leaked. I said that last week too. They were winning in the court of public opinion. They were swaying people. It makes no sense. No sense. They did not need the pictures to be released. It just doesn't make sense to me that they would. I know it's going to make sense to other people, but it doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so we note at the outset that the defense counsel was disqualified in response to the state's motion and da-da-da-da-da. So this is all has to do with that case. The trial court reconsidered its earlier ruling and granted a continuance. Okay, that has to do with that case. The court is generally of the view that a trial court is limited in its authority to remove criminal defendants' court-appointed counsel. However, the court finds it unnecessary to explicate the parameters of that authority here. This is because case. I think it goes over here. Okay, the issue before the court is a horrible tragedy created by persons not related to the defense of Mr. Allen. There were 3 disseminators. So what I was talking about last week when we were listening to Murder Sheet about it being the 2, because the way they had put it out to the world was really weird. They did do a follow-up. They said they weren't going to, this was the only time they were going to talk about it, and they weren't going to take any questions, but then they did a whole thing about questions, which was interesting, on a podcast where you can't actually ask any questions. And they said that to clarify, there was 2 M's. So M, being the friend of Baldwin, gave them to R, who gave them to Mark. And then Mark posted the tree pic on Facebook, at least the tree pic. So there was 3 disseminators, one of which committed suicide after law enforcement investigation began. It should be considered that nothing has been disclosed that won't be disclosed at trial or hearings. It should also be considered that there have been volumes of information disseminated by law enforcement and or others not at all linked to the defense team. So this was what I was actually trying to say the other day, essentially, is there's not evidence that's out there. And yes, I understand that they will use the photo as like for evidentiary value, but the photo itself isn't it's not evidence. And okay, so my mouse right here is the weapon, and I bagged it and it's been processed and now it's over here, and I send this mouse out to somebody. That is contaminating the evidence. This is something that's going to come out. And I said, there's plenty of states where you could get crime scene photos before the trial ever happens, because they don't think it's going to sway anything. It's not going to change the outcome. The crime scene isn't going to change. You can't contaminate the picture. Does that make sense? I'm so worked up. I'm thirsty. I'm flushed. So one of which who committed suicide after the law enforcement investigation began. It should be considered that nothing has been disclosed that won't be disclosed at a trial or hearing. So it should also be considered that there have been volumes of information disseminated by law enforcement and or others not at all linked to the defense team. This, to me, I wonder if it has anything to do with like interviews and stuff that were done beforehand, or if there's actually something to it. Mr. Baldwin trusted a friend to respect his office space. He was betrayed. Since that transgression, Mr. Baldwin has kept all Delphi-related items locked in a room or a locked fireproof file cabinet. Furthermore, defense counsel has put together a plan for a curative action in which no items will be left unattended for even a second in any unlocked room. When any documents or item from the case is needed for preparing the case, the person using the documents or items will either 1, lock the door behind them when they leave, even for a lunch break or a bathroom break, or 2, return those documents or items to the room dedicated to the Delphi case and lock the door. Mr. Razi indicated there are vast amounts of trial preparation materials, and it would be a setback to the defense have to relocate them. Under these circumstances, Mr. Baldwin has taken sufficient curative action. Should the court believe there should be some sanction, the court could order to 24 hours of representation without compensation. So why did they step down? Why did they leave? Sorry, guys. Hold on one second. Oh, you mean Jackie like to put it back on Ron Logan, or on which Logan? On Logan Holder, Logan Maxwell, or Ron Logan? Jackie. There's just too many Logans. I think so. I really think so. There's some blackmail, threatened. You guys are all using different words. There's something that happened that told them they were not going to be, like, essentially, like, you come in and I'm going to say, hey, yeah, you're not going to be representing this guy. So how do you want to go about it? How do you want to do it? Do you want to just go on your own? Do you want me to make a big deal of it? Like, yeah, you're not going to be here anymore. I figured that's who you meant, but I wanted just to make sure. Yeah, the 3 Logans. Or Logan's Port. There's a whole city. Or Logan Paul. He's a boxer now. All right, let me see what else was in here. Okay, this is just the minutes. Did you guys all actually watch Gull? Have you guys all watched what she said? It's 3 minutes. Do you guys want me to play it? She seems pissed. She seems like she just came out of an argument. That's how I felt when she walked in. I was like, ooh, like you could almost feel like she was pissed. And I don't think anybody even knew what was about to happen yet. Yeah, I just feel like something. Baldwin has an attorney for a good reason. They were threatened. I bet all the money I have, which is only 200 until I payday. Yeah, right? Diener was like, yeah, no, I don't feel safe doing this. He wasn't wrong. He wasn't stupid. He's probably sitting back going, man, I made a really good decision to get out of this. That's what I think. That's what I think. I would love to have been a fly on that wall. I just feel like everybody was just pissed. I just feel like there was probably screaming, and I think it wasn't calm. Like they were trying to defend themselves, and then she was probably like, "Be quiet." That's totally made up, by the way. I obviously have no idea, but that's like the feeling I got. So do you guys want me to play it? I can play it if you guys want me to. Like I said, it's not very long. Oh, lawyer, did a thing, reacts to the bombshell reports about the defense withdrawing. I wonder what he thinks about it. And I know that Bob Motta was in court today, and he did a mini live stream right after when he left, and he was just talking about, like, everybody was kind of confused of, like, with the chaos of everything. And then I think Julie Melvin did one too, so we can watch those. You guys haven't seen them. And then I think Bob Motta's going on Court TV tonight with Vinny. I'm going to stop actually sharing that because I don't know if I shared it with audio because I knew it was just a picture. You know what I should do? I'm going to do that. I'm going to put up a poll. Oh, did you guys see that? What's his name was actually in court today too? He got a new attorney. PPD. Hi, Jax. Okay, so I'm going to make a poll real quick. So the defense attorneys quit because, one, they were told to, or be removed. Threatened. They were threatened or blackmailed. Or because they're chicken shits. And they didn't like that. They set all this in motion and then they bounced. That's what somebody else said in another live I was in earlier. Because they are cowards. All right, let's see what you guys have to say about that. It's weird considering that Tupac is in Cuba. Is he with Elvis? I'm not into conspiracies. Brings up Tupac. Okay, all right, let me play this. Like I said, it's not very long. If you can't hear it, let me know quickly so I can stop it.
County Circuit Court's now in session. Elmo Frangal presiding.
Thank you. You may be seated. We on? All right, we are on the record in State of Indiana versus Richard Allen, 08C012210MR1. Thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. McClellan, Mr. Luttrell, for your patience. We've had an unexpected turn of events, ladies and gentlemen.
Unexpected.
Earlier this afternoon, the defense attorneys have withdrawn their representation of Mr. Allen. Mr. Baldwin made an oral motion to withdraw. I granted that oral motion to withdraw, and Mr. Rosie will be submitting a written motion to withdraw, I'm assuming within the next couple of days. They have confirmed with the court that Mr. Allen's financial situation remains static, meaning he is continuing to be entitled to.
So just to be clear, because I also did hear today that this happened because he can't afford his attorneys. I don't think that anybody here questions that those were public defenders. He was not paying them, and he will just get a new batch of public defenders.
Appointed counsel. I will reach out to public defenders to make that appointment. As Mr. Allen is now without counsel, I've ordered him transported back to the Department of Correction.
Hold on. Did you guys see that?
Mr. McClellan, I know that we have already scheduled a hearing. As Mr. Allen is now without counsel, I've ordered him transported back to the Department.
Did she say that kind of weird?
Without counsel, I've ordered him.
A little high pitched right there. Like now that he's without counsel. Oh, serendipity? I don't actually know. I don't actually know if they have to.
Him transported back to the Department of Correction. Mr. McClellan, I know that we have already scheduled a hearing in the Carroll Circuit Court October 31st at 9 a.m. I'd like to maintain that hearing if we can, please. I think at that point we can have counsel appointed. I'd like to set a new trial date. Obviously, I don't believe counsel will be prepared within the next couple of months to try a case of this magnitude in January. So we'll set dates for the trial. I think we need to set a date as well for the suppression hearing that was filed now by former counsel. I have asked the attorneys to provide all of the discovery previously provided back to the state of Indiana. I know I entered a protective order on the discovery, and honestly, I don't remember when that was. I think it was in April of this year, perhaps, maybe sooner. But the attorneys have been ordered to provide all of that discovery back to the state. And if you would maintain that until such time as it can be turned over to successor counsel, I would appreciate that, Mr. McClelland. I've also asked the defense attorneys to cooperate with successor counsel. They're not required to do that, but I think that they will in the best interests of Mr. Allen. They're not required to provide any of their work product, but they will be required and have indicated that they will cooperate with successor counsel. So obviously, without counsel, Mr. Allen's hearing cannot proceed. I apologize that I know many of you have been waiting for several hours. I know, Mr. McClelland, you and your staff, and you had some witnesses here.
Okay, that was another question I had. Why were any of them waiting for several hours? What was going, like, that means to me like they were told they needed to be there earlier. Well, none of them should have been there for several hours. This, I mean, court was supposed to start at 2. They were going to have a half-hour delay on the camera pull. Why would any of them have been there for hours? And McClelland had witnesses there. McClelland had witnesses there. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me.
And you had some witnesses here that came earlier to have the hearing, but clearly this is outside of our control. So is there anything, Mr. McClelland, that you'd like to state for the record?
No, Your Honor, I think we can address the other issues at the October 31st court date.
All right. With that being said, then, we are in recess. Thank you. I'll see you in October. Being said, then, we are in recess. Thank you. I'll see you in October.
All right.
No, I want to go back to him. Yeah.
With that being,
Damn it. Just pause it back. What's up with this? What's up with this right here? Why is it all slick? So I wanted to go back here. Can you see, anybody recognize these guys? I know this guy right here. So he had witnesses there. Yeah, so I was just saying, do you guys recognize those? I trust no one, right? Like I don't trust any of you folk. I don't trust any of you folk at all. What are you doing there? What witnesses? So the October 31st one is supposed to be the suppression one. And to talk about the Franks motion. That's supposed to be supposedly October 31st. I don't even know what's going to happen with any of that now. She's probably just going to be like, yeah, who cares? They're not even the defense attorneys anymore. It is what it is. But this one, this is the one that the judge requested. She requested it and demanded that they clear their schedules and they were going to show up in court like no matter what. And everybody pretty much speculated it was going to be about like these leaks and this stuff. So then if that's the case, and everybody's been reporting, like all the actual reporters are saying that this hearing is supposed to be about the leaks, and you know, remember she put in there like the things that have recently arisen. It was nice wording, which would be the leaks. So does he have witnesses there about the leaks? The poll is almost tied. They were told to or to be removed. They were threatened or blackmailed at 46 and 47. And then they're cowards at 7%. No, I don't think. I don't think he would have wanted him gone at all. From everything I've heard from listening to all, like since they've been on board, since they've been his attorneys, is that his family and Richard Allen, they all really like these attorneys. Right. It was just like the slickness is like, because that's what they like, Slick Rick, Yeah, no, I don't think Allen wanted them gone. I think that he was happy with his representation. I think that something was going on. I don't know if it was threatened, blackmailed. I don't know about that. I think it was. They were definitely pushed out. Bottom line, they were pushed out. And I said this when we talked about the leaks, that the leak thing was, the timing of that was really weird. And even in the documentation that Hennessy put forward for Baldwin, where he's saying like, hey, these are all the reasons why you shouldn't sanction him or shouldn't dismiss him from the case. They never actually say the date. When did this M guy come into his office and take this evidence or see this evidence? How long ago? Because I'm telling you, if it's from September 18th or even from the beginning of August, if it's from the beginning of August, I smell a freaking rat. Anytime from then until now, I smell a freaking rat. I smell a rat that was sent in there to see what they could do. They had to get rid of these guys. They were asking too many questions. Too many questions. Because, okay, let's think back. If this leak, because, okay, the other one that they supposedly were kind of like slapped on the wrist for was that Baldwin accidentally had emailed that list I showed you guys before, whatever it was, about the file folders and stuff that he said he was supposed to be sending to Brad Rosie. I think that's how you say his name. I'm always still going to call him Rosie because that's just what it looks like to me. But they sent him to Brandon instead on accident, and then there was like that whole thing, and then he ended up suing and whatnot. So they got like the little slap on the wrist for that, but that didn't actually contain pictures. It wasn't actual like discovery. It was this it was supposedly just like that one was just like supposedly like basically lists of what they were looking at. And I showed you guys, I was like, empty. This one's empty still. That one's empty. This one has whatever in it. But this was like pictures. Somebody needs to tell me a date that this some other channel said the initials were MW. I don't know who the original M is. I haven't figured that out. M went in, and this would also explain why Rick Snay said that it was pictures of a computer screen. Like this person used to work there, so they still had access to like be able to get into the computers, because it's like, hometown kind of stuff. No, the leak K-Bird was RF. Huge reaction. Yeah, no, I don't think it's the prosecutor's fault. I think that there's something shady happening. If you guys don't think there's something shady happening, by all means, don't think there is. I think there is. I was already curious about it when the whole thing happened to begin with. The timing of it is very interesting. Is this M person tied to anybody in the investigation? MB. Oh, not MW. Okay, another channel said it was MB. Or no, they said it was MW. You're saying MB. It's unsure to type it as out there, but deep. T, I can't wait for you to do over the family tree, because I feel like dirt on everyone goes back decades. Oh, yes, it does. Oh, yes, it does. It's you sleuthers that caused this. That's funny. That's funny to me. I don't have the photos. Don't put me in a line of people who got involved in this leak. I got nothing to do with it. I just talk about it. The whole thing stinks. Email criminality187@gmail. They needed to get rid of those competent lawyers. Now we need to find a team to take it pro bono. I think that the problem comes to they were asking too many questions. They were making them look like fools in the public eye. They were tainting the jury according to them. And I think that there was a reason that they had to go. That's my thought. Shelley said Maxwell. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Many and more than one person, and those people don't know each other, have come out with their own stories on what has happened to them, not because of Richard. Oh, S. Hockett. Oh, it's been a day. Most of the YouTubers who got the leaked images were on the state side. Think about it. That's actually a very good point. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. It looks just greasy. Oh, I know. We got what time do they normally do that? Because Bob's going to be on, I want to make sure that I watch it. There wasn't a line of people that got the photos. Kind of is amusing how many content creators lied just so they didn't feel left out. I don't even know who all got them. I mean, I know that Rick Snake said he got him. He talked about him. Gray Hughes said he got him. He talked about him. Murder Sheet says they got him from Mark. Mark says he got him from R. So we still don't even know who actually is. Mark the person who sent them to the YouTubers? Did R send them to the YouTubers? Or did the original M send them to the YouTubers? Or how did it get disseminated? And then I couldn't really tell from Steve, True Crime Web Steve, who was talking about the photos, if he actually saw them or not. He said like 50-something people got them? Oh, I didn't hear that. Well, my issue is they were really quick to come on and be like, we helped investigate it, and but then they turn around and they're like, web sleuths aren't going to solve anything. And it's like, why? And then Mark, this great guy Mark, and I don't know this dude. I don't know him from anybody. He's nobody to me. But Mark is from the United States. He could have easily figured out how to contact the police department himself and say, hey, this is what happened. Mark instead contacts Murder Sheet, a podcast. Not like another friend like, hey, Joe Schmo, so-and-so just sent me this stuff. I don't really know what to do with it. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, I need to bounce it off of somebody. You contact a podcast that goes on TV at least once a week. What? That's the people you're like, I'll give them to you under the condition. I'll give them to you under the condition you take them to law enforcement. How about I don't give them to you? How about as this great journalist and this attorney, you say, no, Mark, do not send them to me. I will contact the investigators and tell them what you just said. They will get a hold of you. Don't send me shit. But this is like the whole thing of like, I feel like people who want to have them, who want to pretend like they don't want to have them. That's how I feel about it. And I've said forever, crime scene photos do not bother me. I was raised in a family of cops and detectives. It does not bother me. Now, do I feel bad for the families? Do I think they should be out there and leaked and all over social media? No, because I don't want that if it was my child. The defense would leak them to people who question the state. Well, I mean, Rick Snake technically thinks Ron Logan was on the bridge and not Richard Allen. So he's not necessarily pro-prosecution, right? Like I said, I just started watching some of these guys in the last few weeks since I was doing this. It's so disturbing. That's, I think, what frustrates me, Yaya, is people just blindly are okay with it. And it's like, no, that could be your brother. That could be you. That could be your child. You know, and I don't know if you guys ever watched the Zachariah Anderson case. It's a huge case for me. It's important. I absolutely believe that man is wrongfully in prison for murder, and nobody gives a shit. If you guys don't know the case, take a look at it. His brother is like a huge warrior to prove his innocence and to get him out of prison. Zachariah Anderson. I changed my mind. I think the defense was threatened. Right, yeah, they received them unsolicited. But apparently all these people did, because they got them from anonymous emails and things like that. So, but that's why I said crime scene photos don't bother me. There was like a huge thing with like Gannon's photos like being out there, and like I felt terrible for the fact that his mom and dad now knew that these photos were out there, but I didn't have a problem with the photos. We were listening and talking about the crime. I mean, I kind of just feel like I don't know how we could come this far. It's not like I want to like ogle them or oogle them, whatever you call them. You know what I mean? It's just like, you're talking about it. I'm sitting here reading the documents. Disingenuous is the word that comes to mind, those podcasters. Yeah, it just, I don't know. We're not going to answer any questions about this next podcast. All the questions. K-Bird says, read my comment above. Okay, hold on. Crime scene photos were taken from defense attorney office by Max Baker. Maxwell. That's where you're getting Maxwell from. I was thinking Logan Maxwell for some reason. People need to come up with some more original names out there. In the court doc you just read, he accuses MB as misusing his trust to let him have free access to his office and files. Okay, so then this dude takes these pictures. See, this is where I get really confused too, because different people who are saying they have the photos are saying they have different quantities of photos. They have different photos. They have, you know, and I think Rick Snane's the only one that's actually said vocally. I don't think Gray did, like that his have they're like a picture of a computer screen, but then that F tree isn't. Yeah, just when you think it can't get any weirder, they're like, no. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna cover, you know, Natalie Holloway, and I made a video about all that happened yesterday with that case, and I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm making some progress, getting out of this Delphi nightmare. We're gonna get some answers tomorrow during that hearing. Is what I was thinking yesterday, and then I'm like, ugh. Wait, I thought that was the R that did. K-Bird, because I've seen his obituary, and he's the one who sent money, according to Murder Sheet. You know, the one that unalived himself sent money to Mark, and he's the one who sent money to Mark's GoFundMe, $500. Where do we go from here? Shit, I don't even know. Get the Advil. Hey, Ryan. Max Baker was an intern for Rosie, who accompanied him on 4 visits to Allen. Wait. That's what I thought too. Wait. Is Max Baker the one who has the affidavit that's in the memorandum? Is that Max Baker? It wasn't for the photos go. Yeah, right. It was just a nice guy. But which still didn't make any sense because they were saying that M was M and yes? Holy shit. Seriously? Shut the front door. Shut the front door. Everyone has a price. So, and that's the thing. If the middleman goes and unalives himself, there's nothing he's going to get in trouble for. He didn't do anything illegal. He didn't do anything illegal. If he was sent these, unless he bought them. I got you, K-Bird. I'm picking up what you're putting down. No. The other guy's name is Robert. He's the one who killed himself. But he also, I mean, he was a vet who'd done a lot of tours. But he didn't do anything illegal. Somebody sent him something that he sent to somebody else. That's like you guys send me something and I'm like, hey, ATS News, look what so-and-so sent me. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not the bad guy. I didn't do anything illegal. Maybe he knew too much. Well, people were already going down like this random dude kills himself about a leak. And I'm thinking, obviously, suicide is very complicated. I had it. My best friend when I was younger committed suicide, and nobody wanted to believe that that's what it was because he was just a normal, happy guy that didn't have any. He was the one that that was not going to happen. Wasn't that person. You know what I mean? He wasn't depressed. He was funny. He was the jokester. He was like the class clown. But so I think that there's a lot more to it. And just to say, oh yeah, he was being investigated and then did it. I mean, shit, it's possible, but I don't know if that, I don't want to tie it to that. But now, that's why I said, I'm just going to go down so many conspiracies here. I don't have any idea. I know the only reason that I even know that I went to go source that he actually did do it to himself. There are people that he is friends with on Facebook that have sent condolences for it happening, but nobody has said the way that it happened. It is. Depression is complicated and it just doesn't always show up and people don't always see it. And I think that's why most people are like, nope, they couldn't have been suicide. It had to be murder because that person would never do it. But then because you just don't want to believe it. What a stress eat. I wish I smoked still. I want a cigarette. Yeah, you just don't believe it because our brains don't want to. And I think that's also things that happen when it comes to cases like this. The prosecution put out the affidavit and said that Richard Allen did it. They did that because they have enough. They have enough evidence to prove that he did it. So he must have done it. He must have done it because they said he did it. And we're never going to believe anything different. It's like, so what I was saying to you guys earlier is I need somebody to be able to prove to me the time he was there or not there. Because I do not trust Dan Doolin and I do not trust this investigation at all. Somebody needs to be able to tell me what time this man was actually there. He says he was there from 12:30 to 1:30. Is there anybody besides his wife and daughter and his mom? You know, I know because then I wouldn't trust it either. Not that I think that they're bad people. I just wouldn't trust it. Something factually that shows me this guy was actually there even at 2:13. Show me that he is lying about the time he was there. And then show me something that ties him to the actual crime. To the actual crime. And I don't care what it is. Hi, Miz. Okay, look at that in the context of the last two paragraphs that I read. Okay, let me see. On page 4, last two paragraphs. Like two little paragraphs or up here. Mr. Baldwin trusted a friend to respect his office space. He was betrayed. Since that transgression, Mr. Baldwin has kept all Delphi-related items locked in a room or a locked fireproof file cabinet. This is why, like, so did he already know this had happened? This is, when did they find out? Furthermore, defense counsel has put together a plan for curative action in which no items will be left unattended for even a second in any unlocked room. When any documents or item from the case is needed for preparing blah, 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 blah. As Mr. Rosie indicated, there are vast amounts of trial preparation materials, and it would be a setback to the defense have to relocate them. Under these circumstances, Mr. Baldwin has taken sufficient curative action. Yeah, I mean, I care what it is. I just need something that ties it. Show me that you found these missing articles of clothing. Show me that you found something that puts him like there. Something that puts him with the girls. Something that ties him together and prove to me the time. I think those are the two big things I need. I am not sold that he's not the guy. So, and I say this every time. Don't take my rabbit holes as that I think they have the wrong guy. I just don't know if they have the right. I don't know. And I like to feel, and there's a lot of people who think like Brian Koberger's innocent in the Idaho 4 case. I truly believe they are prosecuting the right guy. Until something else happens, I believe they're prosecuting the right guy. And I'm going to back this up by even telling you guys, when they arrested Richard Allen and the probable cause affidavit came out, I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. They've done it. They're making progress. And everything that continues to happen, I'm like, wait a minute. They're like talking me out of thinking they have the right guy. Hi, MJ. And the bullet being in the woods means nothing. When my family goes target shooting, I'm sure they leave behind a lot of spent and unspent bullets. Well, it's tough because of the whole match to begin with. And like I said, I'm not the gun person. But if they could prove without a doubt that it does match his gun, you have the problem that he says he's never been there. He's never been on that property. The girls leaving the trails and the unspent bullet, his description of what he was wearing, and Libby's video. That tells me a lot of evidence right there. I struggle with this, Shelly. I struggle with this. He goes up and says, hey, I was there from 12:30 to 1:30. Or does Dan Doolin ask, were you there anytime between 1:30 and 3:30? And he says, yes, I was. I left there around 1:30. He's like, there's so much nuance to that conversation that I can't blanket it into, yeah, he was there. Because then the next statement, it's not between 1:30 and 3:30. It becomes 1:30 to 3:30. And that's not right either. So even in the prosecution's own information, it says two different things. And those two things mean something very different. So they don't even know or weren't firm enough in their descriptions of what he said to be able to say he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. Does that make sense? So I need something else. If he was actually gone around 1:30, I mean, I think if there was a way he could prove it, This is like how I felt about Brian Koberger's alibi. He was like, I have an alibi. And it's like, okay, well, then why are you waiting until trial to tell us? Like, if you really have an alibi, tell your attorneys, have them prove it, and you're going to go home. And I feel the same way about this. If there was something that proved that he wasn't there, I don't know why that wouldn't just come forward. That would be the easiest thing, because then you'd just be done, right? Look, here I am. I'm on surveillance video at Kroger or whatever grocery store there is. Hi, Salus Investigate. Hey, Alley Cat. Do they have his phone pings? So this is, I wish Humanimal was here, because they've done so much research into like the phone stuff. From everything I have read, it does not seem like they did the geofencing. It seems like they took information from this tower and who was pinging off of it. But then when you look, there's like only the two towers. So I don't really know what they have with his phone pings. Then they didn't put any of that in any of the affidavits or search warrants. If they had done geofencing and gone to that area at that time, they would have come up with like 10, 15 people max. So here's what I want to talk about this electronic evidence stuff. I should pull that up. Let me see. Let's see if I can find that real quick. And if it'll let me search. Because, so we talked about these photos that have been leaked. And the tree picture, we've talked about how the tree picture is taken at night. Aries Fire. I'm not familiar with like stuff when it comes to stock, like the stock ticker. I mean, I get what it is. But is there like specific times that people would watch it, or is it something that just kind of goes all day and anybody could look at it? So one of you guys is going to be smart enough that you guys will know that. I just don't. I don't know any of that. Yes, that's true. The Odin excuse, in my opinion, is not a conspiracy theory. There are things not on the paperwork that match perfectly to the crime scene, and you can't fit Richard Allen into the obvious shit. So that was a whole nother rabbit hole I was in, is trying to figure out how would he be connected to, and I'm sure, has everybody here watched the Patrick Westphal interviews, on Sleuth Intuition? He had one that was a pre-recorded phone call, and then he had another one where Patrick Westphal was on there and he was live. And there's a couple things that I kind of was like, I'm not sure I believe that, but for the most part, I believe he was doing well. Like I don't think he did anything to the girls. That's my takeaway. My gut tells me that, so I just kind of go with it until I have something else. There was a couple things that I was like, I don't think you're being honest about this, but he talks about that he's gone to like these different bars, and one of the bars would be JC's, which is where we know that they had the pool tournaments on Saturdays, and that's where Richard Allen hung out. And then I was like going even further into this whole, he's talking about the difference between Sleuthy Goosey was actually able to watch that live while I was live. So she asked if there was anything I wanted to ask him. And one of the questions I had was if he'd ever been a part of the Sons of Odin, which is Sons of Odin MC motorcycle club. And he said no, because he was part of the Vinlanders social club, and you can't be part of both. But he was patched in, he was a probate, then he was patched in, then he was a made man. To me, I was like, wait a minute, this is like Delphi. There's like less than a couple thousand or 3,000 people there. Then all these motorcycle guys are probably going to know who the other ones are, even if they're not in the same thing, right? So you've got like the Sons of Odin, then you have this Vinlanders social club, and then he said that the American Guard is different. It's like there's all these different little sections or whatever you call it, but how many players in this case actually have motorcycles? That they would have all probably been in and around the same people. So that was, like I said, that was just a rabbit hole that I was going down. But I want to pull up the memorandum real quick because he rides motorcycles, but not Sons of Odin because he's already a Vinlander. Yes. And they're all like those different, like, I don't know what you call them, I don't, they're not sections, like, they're not sanctions. The prison guards also. So that's what I was like, is this where like all these people tie in together? And even and so does Richard Allen has a motorcycle. So Messer, Johnny Messer. I really need to be more organized, or at least like name these damn files so I can find them much easier. Here it is. In the Franks hearing, in the request for a Franks hearing. Does PCA make him look guilty? Yes, but then find out no proof of him there at that time via witness's camera phone. And there's nothing that puts, and they could have all of this great stuff that they're just not telling us. But, and I've said it before, the defense gets to cherry pick these conversations. So, and these depositions, and they cherry pick what they want and they get to put it into their memorandum. So I totally get that and I respect it. But that's not what I wanted. Damn it. And we need to hear the whole thing to be sure. Because this was kind of what I was thinking. My email address, criminality187@gmail.com. Introduced timeline different from family. Even clothes of girls differed. Why? They had to make PCA fit, and their theory still is. But I think it's also interesting because they had to make it fit, or they didn't have to. I shouldn't say it like that because it's common. But they really wrapped it around Ron Logan, and it's like they, I think like ATS was saying, like they almost like started over once Ron Logan died, and they had to go figure that out. Let me check my email real quick. I'm still here. I'm just reading. Give me a second. Oh. See, that's okay. All right, I'm gonna have to look into that one. Let me see. Why does that say it didn't deliver? That's weird. Okay. Quitting, that's exactly where I am. I'm at the point where I really do. I just want them just to start over. Get rid of all of these people and start over. I don't trust any of them. I think they're all proven liars at this point. And I don't think any of them are going to do anything for Abby and Libby to get for the truth to actually be known. I mean, some say an arrest is like we're headed towards justice, okay, and then the conviction, and it's like, yes, we've got justice, but if they convict the wrong guy, then we're screwed. Hey, Ruckus, the families are screwed. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I think that he's innocent. I just want them to have all of their ducks in a row where they can't be questioned on their ethics and what's happening. And I feel like they need a special prosecutor. All right, I'm gonna go grab that. Oh, this one.
Up to you if you wish to hail him or not. It is not.
Oh, this is that one. This is the one that at the end that Patrick is putting.
Ancestral oak.
So like this is where I feel like the defense kind of went off the rails too, though, honestly, because hold on, let me pause it. Ah, shit.
And I thank you. The circle
They said in there that it's about the same height as where the F was found on the tree. And when we were going through the documentation, you guys in chat were like, wait. That's not true. That they stated that the mark on the tree was about 4 foot off the ground. This guy is, we looked up his record. He was like, what, 6'5" or something like that? And then with arm reach, that is not the same height. And if it had been, if this F had been that high off the ground, like, 7 foot plus, then Richard Allen wouldn't have been able to do it without a ladder. But 4 foot, he absolutely could. Yeah, change of venue and a special prosecutor. Just Indiana, I believe, is one of the first states that's ever made it where a family can request that a different agency investigate it, and they have to do it. Yeah, 6'5", 270. And he reached as high as he could so nobody could take it out. Yeah, he's not writing an F at 4 foot. That's just silly. Okay. So I want to go back to my thoughts on this whole, on these pictures that were leaked. And I wanted to look up the depositions because I want to see exactly what they say that the officers did. So we know that the F tree picture, supposedly it's taken at night. So one of the questions I asked Snay was, were the other pictures he was sent taken at night? And he said, no, they were taken during the day. I also asked, I should pull up my questions so that I actually know what the hell I'm talking about, right? I asked if you could see if the clothes were wet. He said no. He could not tell if the clothes were wet. And I don't know if that's just due to the fact that, and some of this could be due to the fact that it was taken from a cell phone from a computer screen. Let me see. I asked him if any of the pictures had anything to do with a crime scene. Like, did they have like evidence markers? Was there a measurement tool? Was there anything like that? He said no, nothing to do with like crime scene investigators or investigators being there. So I thought that was interesting, and I talked to ATS about this too. Not all crime scenes have that. Obviously, there are crime scene pictures you can pull up on Google right now, and they don't have any type of evidence markers or crime scenes. Most of them, in my opinion, are older cases, and typically now they do have some type of evidence marker or something that lets you know that, you're an investigator taking the picture. But neither here nor there, some do. No, no, not that he screenshotted. He said that, like, the pictures he was sent, somebody took with like a phone and had taken like a picture of a computer screen. So they had the like the glare parts of a computer screen. Not that he took a screenshot. No, I don't know if he did or not, but that's not what I meant. So I hope it didn't come out that way. I don't want anybody to say that I think that he did, because that's not what I asked. Where the hell did my questions go? So he said he couldn't tell if the clothes were wet. No crime scenes, nothing. And then no times or dates on the photos. No times or dates. So then that made me really curious. There's nothing that shows who took these pictures. CSI documents the crime scene with photos and or video prior to processing it. Right. That's why I said yes. There's both. Like, so what you're going to have, like in your discovery file, you can have both pictures that have just the crime scene and pictures that have that. It was just the combination of all of it that made me go, wait a minute. Okay. There's no times. There's no dates. There's nothing that shows that they're in evidence yet, but there's no trial yet. So they don't have evidence marker. They don't have evidence numbers like on them. How do we know when these pictures were taken? These pictures were taken during the day, he said, and the tree is at night. They also, it was either Leslie or Carter, and I can't remember which one said that they had their CSIs out there for 4 days processing. So maybe the pictures are just taken at different times of days. But then there's an interview with, what day is the interview with Ron Logan, where he takes them down to the crime scene? What day is that? Does anybody remember it off the top of your head? How can we tie Lyric and Elizabeth in via numerology conspiracies? Oh, well, you can, because you can do it with the whole dates and all of that stuff. But Snay said her hair looked wet, almost bald, slicked back. Yeah, C-Star, that's what I'm talking about. Right. I think it was the 15th. I think it was the 15th that he was out there. There's no crime scene people out there. There's no crime scene people out there processing anything. And it's the daytime. So then that makes me go, okay, then they probably took the majority of their photos on the 14th. Obviously with the body, yes. But I'm talking about even just the other stuff. No, you did not. No, you did not. What are the chances of that? So, like I said, I'm just really curious about where these photos actually, how did they get into evidence? Where did they come from? How do we even know? How do we prove? How do we source that these were actually photos taken by investigators? At this point, we assumed that. We just assumed it. Yes, Ruckus, exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Like, we just, in our own way of just putting everything into a box, we all just, so, you know, that must have just been crime scene pictures from the investigators. They could have had, if they found, this is why I wanted to look up the depositions to see if there's anything that says anything about that. The investigators said there's not anything on the phones that they found. Remember, they found like what was it, like 17 phones or something crazy in his house? So they say there's no tie, you know, between him and Odinism. There's no tie, you know, between him and the girls. What if these pictures are taken from the phone of the person who did it? It's always been rumored about it being recorded or photographs. And I'm not saying that these are photos from the bad guy. I'm not saying that. I doubt they're from the searchers. I know that the ones that have the shoe and the shirt and the supposed pair of underwear are supposedly from the searcher who zoomed in and found them or whatever. But I can't imagine that the people who are going to walk up and go, oh, let's take some pictures of the girls we just found to prove that we found them. You know what I mean? So I kind of rule out the searchers just for emotional reasons. But then I think we don't know who actually took these photos. Let me see what you said. Hold on. Georgia. They lied about starting over when they get through a case and no arrest. They denied that cold case, but they were not working it like they said they were. Well, and they kept saying they were starting over, and they never started over. If they did, then they would have gotten that tip long before 2022. In September 2022, if you believe that they started over all the time, then that would have been the first time they started over. You see what I'm saying? But how does, like, Dan Doolin does, all he has is like a few words down on a piece of paper. That's problematic. Cheyenne was on the bridge. You know, she got there and parked at about 2:50. She reported that she reported to them that she was there that day once she knew that the girls were missing. And it took them almost like 2 weeks to come out and interview her about what she saw while she was there. And she was there at the time that this would have been unfolding, according to the prosecution. Yeah, because I know this sounds terrible, but if there's no sexual assault, there's another purpose behind this. There's another purpose that this, you know, they want to do it in their sick way, in their sick mind, but there's another layer to that. Does that make sense? So I think they would want to memorialize it. Eduardo. And the tree one is pitch dark. So it was interesting thought to me, like, why are these other ones taken during the day? He said the girls were not wet. You think they were taken away and brought back. So this was something I was actually talking to ATS News about too, was like why Ron Logan just kind of rubs everybody like weird. Like, is he actually a bad guy, or did he know that the cops would think that he was a bad guy? You know, they don't like him and he knew they would blame it on him. Did he move them? Did he, you know, later on, did he move them so that they weren't so close to his house? I mean, they're very close to the edge of his property for somebody who, you know, it's just woods. Right. And is that why he, like, people, like, the gut instinct for Ron Logan is that there's something off and maybe he is the guy, or maybe he did something, maybe he had some shenanigans that he was like, no, I don't want them blaming me. I got to get rid of this stuff. And it would go with, like, when they said we want to search and, you know, see if there shouldn't be anything connected. And he's like, no, I don't think there would be. Or maybe there would be, or something, whatever he said. A younger group. What's, you know, and C. King, who was in here talking to us about, like, Odinism before, said that her first initial thought was that it was a group of younger people, a group that maybe, like, want to be Asatru, want to play Asatru. Maybe the killer used Libby's phone to take photos, then the killer left the phone under Abby's leg so Ellie would find it. Calling card. So this was like that rabbit hole I was telling you. It's like, is there just a photo of this guy on the bridge, and then that's a totally different whole set of anything? Remember, everybody used to say it was 2 minutes long. Everybody said it was 2 minutes long. It's 2 minutes long. It's 2 minutes long. And that's 43 seconds. Is it dead air? I don't know. But I mean, they say it's 43 seconds of recorded. So is this video of this guy on the bridge taken, and it's not even the same guy? That's why I'm like, I can't go down too many rabbit holes. This whole thing with the defense attorneys has already got me going too much. And the barns and the shacks. But thank you, Ruckus. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. See, something like that, like this. And once again, like, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if he actually, I'm not saying that Ron Logan did anything, you know, like that he was actually the killer. I actually don't think that. But I'm wondering, when we have these, like, so many people have this, like, gut feeling about him, like, did he do something and that's why we feel that way, or why they feel that way? she actually said that, isn't she, oh shit, I don't want to misquote that, but I'm almost positive it was Julie that said, I want to talk to Julie. I literally have an entire list of questions for her. I wonder if she would talk to me. I should message her or email her. She said that because Julie Melvin is Cody Patty's biological aunt, and she said that one of the first things he said to her was something about them being brought back. Oh, hey Jessa, thank you for this. A ticker is like a username for the market. Apple, for example, is AAPL, and markets close at 3 p.m. in New York time. And like my hubby, they watch them all day. Oh, okay. So then it would have been around 2. Well, we can't even prove that he was actually looking at a stock ticker, right? They have all of his phones. So it would be interesting too if they have all 17 of these phones, and whatever phone he actually was using in February of 2017 is not there. But the dude walks up and gives the guy his phone info. He gives his phone info to Dan Doolin so that when they're talking about these towers, they can find him. That's another thing that blows my mind. Would she, Teresa, you think so? I have to find her email. Oh, you know what? I forgot about my my poll. Let me go look at that and then close it. Oh my gosh, that is tight. They were told to or be removed, 48%. They were threatened or blackmailed, 43%. They're cowards, 9%. Julie, I don't think Julie actually signed an NDA. I think that would be with Hannah Shakespeare. I don't know if there was actually an NDA signed though. I know there was like a kerfuffle about that, about the audio from the pre-meeting. So Julie was part of the pre-meeting for the documentary that never got released. And Fig Solves talked to Hannah Shakespeare, and she essentially gave him the documentary that never was released. She just said she doesn't have any of the uncut, like, or the stuff that was cut, but let him play like the entire documentary. And then Julie Melvin, who was part of the pre-planning meeting about the documentary, when they're all, a whole group of them were just kind of sitting around in a room, like talking shit and just, shooting the shit about what they believed happened or what they'd heard and all the rumors. Well, Julie had recorded that, which doesn't really surprise me because that documentary was in 2019. Julie had already been recording and going out and talking to people and, videoing the bridge and, mini investigating or, sleuthing or whatever you want to call it. So I'm not surprised that she actually recorded it, but apparently Hannah said she didn't know she was recording, that Julie was recording it, and that she had signed an NDA and was like pissed that she released that recording. Or maybe she said, don't quote me on this stuff because it's been a while since I watched it. Said something along the lines of, that she tied it. I think she used the name of the documentary when it wasn't actually tied to the documentary. Does that make sense? It was a release on an NDA. Yeah. Hey, Search and Rescue Mom. Let me see. You might be right. It might be 4. I'm just the wifey. He explains it. I was just trying to figure out, like, if they have the data from his phone, they should be able to see if he's looking at a stock ticker. And if it goes along with what he says he was doing. Was Alan staging the crime scene on Logan's property between 8 and 10? Well, that means that he would have gone back to do it. Hold on real quick, guys. Okay. Not a big fan of Shakespeare, but Julie has some good local information. I think I've watched almost every show that Julie's been on, and that's where I kind of accumulated my list of questions for her. And she's commented like that people have said stuff about her. I haven't seen any of that stuff though. Like I said, I didn't follow all the different Delphi creators or Delphi channels or whatever you call them. They're not creating Delphi, so I mean it's kind of a stupid thing to say, I guess. In a small place like this, people who know RA should know what he was or would be involved in. Somebody should know something. And so when I listened to all of the like the forensic people and forensic psychologists and the behavior analysis people, all of those people, everybody essentially has agreed that it makes no sense that this man at his age just randomly decides, I'm just going to go and kill two people, to kill two young girls. Oh, I do. I know about that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Was it? Wait. It was about JM and RG. Hold on. Let me back up. By BH? I thought BW held some girls at gunpoint on his property. Maybe there's a different one. Hold on. This is why I hate. I literally am working on a master list of all the initials of who the people are, so I can, because it's just too much. And I'm on like page 3. That's why she went off the radar for like 3 to 4 years. Okay, Julie Melvin and RG. I'm assuming James Julie Melvin being held at gunpoint by BH and GK. Garrett Kurtz? And Brad Holder? Or what? There's a whole bunch of BHs. Julie was upset it got shared. Oh, the pre-meeting stuff? I don't know. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I didn't think it was that big of a deal that it got shared, but I mean, it wasn't my info, so I mean, I wasn't going to be. So Kurtz and Holder know each other? Oh, Aries Fire. Hold on. I got to write that shit down for my conversation that I hope that Julie's going to have with me. Let me find my Julie Melvin question. Here it is. Hold on. In May of, where did she talk about that? May of 2017? Yeah, if they know each other, that throws things into another whole nother perspective. I knew about the girls that Weber, they went on his property and they were trespassing and he held them there and they like held them hostage, quote unquote. Yeah, a lot of cops. He said they were looking a little nervous. Makes no sense. If he was angry with some, ooh, okay. So because I'm kind of calmer now, I want to talk to you guys about. I'm going to talk to you about that Patrick Westfall, but I don't think I wrote down the damn time. In Patrick Westfall's interview, where he's actually on there, he talked about that Brad. He knew that Brad wanted to go and start his own thing. And I thought that was really interesting because remember he said that the reason him and Brad got in the fight was because Brad was going to a Christian church. But then he says on this interview that Brad wanted to go and start his own thing. So How wouldn't that make more sense? So, and Johnny Messer would be able to quote unquote recruit for Brad's own thing that he's starting. And maybe that doesn't have anything to do with Patrick Westfall. Might be because on Open Secrets, Mathis said Kurtz wanted to be in Dirty White Boys, an offshoot of white nationalist Odin. And Mandy, I'm almost positive that Westfall said that he didn't actually know who Kurtz was, right? That could explain why Logan would have been weird about his alibi. I agree. They'd have to be. There's no way that there's this many, and there's no way there's this many Odins, Asatru, whatever, Vinlander, whatever you want to call this, that in this tiny ass town and in the surrounding towns, so Carroll County towns, and these cops are like, yeah, no idea what that is. And you got two prison guards at the same prison who work together on the same shifts, who happen to practice the same thing. And people are like, well, it's like, being a Christian, or it's like being like being Jewish or whatever. And it's like, no, it's not. It's the percentage of people who are practicing this is much, much less, which makes the chances of all these people coming together much, much more rare. And this goes back to the whole beginning. The statistics around this case is, I think, why people are fascinated with it. Yes, BH and GK know each other. The gun incident was May of 2017. Ask her about it and see what she says. I have proof because they were rolling video. And I did some screenshots of even the title. Who was rolling video? Like BH and GK? Or it was on like when she was on a channel? It's the prison gang. Yeah, maybe. Aries, are you going to come up and tell us about it? Yeah. Never heard of an Odinist before this. It had been around a long time. I don't believe anyone who says they don't know certain people in these small towns. They all know or know of all the characters, in my opinion. Right. I mean, and I can guarantee you we could look back at like Richard Allen's daughter and see who she went to school with, and that I can guarantee she went to school with some of these people who had children that are just retired within the time frame of this crime. You see what I'm saying? Like there's no way they don't have some type of connections. I'm telling you, I did this family tree. And it's not done. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely not done because it just keeps going. But it's not a tree. It's like a wreath. They're all connected to each other. And it's on Libby's side. The connections are very crazy on Libby's side. Abby's side, not so much. There's some oddities, but Libby's side, I'm telling you, it's like a damn circle. It's just interesting, this timing, though, because if you look at like the articles that we talked about with like Patrick Westfall in them, those start when he's a probate in March of 2017. CPAC when they had a rune-shaped stage. Yeah. Because you don't even know which ones are actually... It's like, is this even a coincidence anymore? Oh, shit. Oh, it's like when she was videoing. When she was out there taking all the videos and stuff. Believes it's all over drugs. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of tough. That was like a general thing. A lot of people thought it had something to do with drugs and the fact that Libby's dad was a snitch, and maybe it does. Shit, who knows anymore? What about Libby with that Elvis kid in a pic, but he told cops they only knew each other from social media? Oh, I think Maligator, are you talking about Abby and Logan? I don't. I just think that he didn't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough. I don't. My best friend's kid. Wouldn't be able to tell you how many times she's met up with her boyfriend. You know what I mean? I don't know. I didn't really take that one as being weird. He seemed like he was doing his best to be honest without making himself look bad. And I know that sounds really dumb, but he didn't. He tried to be politically correct about some of his answers. He didn't want to come off as a racist. He didn't want to come off like that. So he tried to stay in that lane, because he knew that he already looks like the bad guy, and that people are looking at him like he's a bad guy. And his kid, I feel bad because his kids are gonna pay for that too. Hey, Moxie. Yeah, I think, and it still could be. It still could be. I'm not over the whole that Libby was the one who was nude and had blood on her hands. I don't know why I keep going back to that whole like saying. It's like her blood is on your hands. And the fact that Abby was completely dressed and covered. Not even just put the shirt back on her. They put a sweatshirt back on her. Why put the sweatshirt on her? Yeah, affidavit. Yeah, they are odorous. Hey, Miss K. At sunset, they were celebrating the last day of enchanting rebirth. I wonder if MP or whoever it was buying numerous bottles of orange cleaner. Wasn't the orange cleaner Ron Logan? Didn't they say he bought orange cleaner? I remember something like that. It's weird how many of these heathens came out of the military. Right. Right? And then don't we have, wasn't Richard Allen National Guard? Remember that rumor about Mike Petty buying a lot of marathon? I thought it was Ron Logan that bought it. No? Orange cleaner? I was in a private group with Carrie back a while ago, and then when I left that group, I never was able to talk to her again. I never reached out. It's my own fault. I should have. I actually really liked Carrie. Yeah, he said his son was in school when they had no school. It's odd how this happened in Delphi with the Oracle of Delphi being so prominent in paganism. Oh shit, that's just another rabbit hole. Oracle of Delphi is prominent in paganism. I just sent you an email with a link to an article featuring pics of members of the American Guard carrying the thin blue line flags. So yes, there are cops in Odinism. Ooh, let me see. Sleuth Intuition showed Patrick the picture that Brad Holder has on his Steve Rogers account, where it looks like there's like a bald guy that's like giving something to another guy, and they're all standing like in a circle. Do you guys remember that picture? And he said that that's not that bald guy is not was not Brad. So Brad was most likely probably taking the picture. But he said that those were American guards, which I found interesting when he had said that he thought Brad wanted to start his own little group, like his own thing. What was Richard Allen? Then how did they know each other, Tom? How did they know each other? When would they have been together? Because he said that Brad wanted to play Asatru when he saw him doing it in the military. Oh yeah, no doubt. And he was probably actually working Georgia. That would be an interesting thing to find out. Was he working at the prison when the Supreme Court ruled that Odinism had to be recognized as a religion in prisons? Yeah, it does. And when the memorandum first came out, like, and I hadn't actually sat down and like read it yet, and I was just kind of checking out like what people were saying about it. There was a lot of like, did the defense like get their information from Reddit? It's just Drax in some ways. It's just being crazy. I am not. I am not. How do I say? I am not ruling out that the simplistic answer is that there is some 40-year-old guy who has wanted to be a bad dude and maybe was a bad dude when he was younger, or has always had weird fantasies, and this was him deciding he was finally going to do something about those fantasies and see how it felt, and decided on February 13th this is what he was going to do, and he went there and picked 2 random girls and got them to where he wanted them to go. I'm not going to rule that out. Like what they're basically essentially saying is a Richard Allen. I just don't know how they fucked it up so bad. This should have been very, very simple. This should have been very, very simple. Yeah, and RF photo leaker is ex-military as well. Right. The person who did this had to have cared about Abby. Isn't that weird when Elvis, who says that he did it, says that Abby was actually the bad one and a troublemaker? And he spit on her? Yeah, I could see that. They have training once a month. So would they have known would RA and BH have known each other from that? Or no? Tobe is trouble. I agree with that. Shit, the guy didn't even take his own wife's family's sketch seriously. Which is also really interesting when you look at the map about where she sees him, is also the same path that Eric Williams says that he took later that night when he was there searching. So it's not unheard of, and many people have speculated that this person came from the South. Where's my map? Did I lose it? No. Like down here. And it's the same path. Eric Williams says that he went up here, and this is where he saw the animal bones. But I thought you said that Brad Holder was National Guard, no? Hold on. The Oracle of Delphi is a historical site where they made sacrifices to the gods. Holy shit. That's just crazy. No kidding. No kidding, Jenny. No kidding. This is what I think that too, Search and Rescue Canine Mom. That's what I think. They were asking too many questions, and they finally got rid of them somehow, some way. It's another thing that I need to know is when did this guy just randomly go in and start taking pictures off the computer of the defense attorneys? When did that happen? Has anybody been able to find the significance between having one girl dressed in the other girl's clothes? Has anybody ever seen anything like that? Mixed cults with meth. Once you leave the Army Marines and no longer in service, you can be National Guard. Okay. Well, and these guys are all relatively, no, I guess they're younger. The Westfall and Holder and all them, they're younger than Allen. Huh. So that's what I was thinking is like about this. I don't think RA will ever be convicted unless some very unaware people get on the jury or they have already made up their minds. Yeah, I was also thinking if they actually have some, I never even ended up going through that to see if they're what they said in the depositions about that. But if they have one of his devices that has those types of pictures on it, then I could see that's obviously a tie that would convict him. There's just got to be something more. There's got to be something more. So it's True Detective season 1, pretty much. I think he wanted people to know Libby was the target. Okay, and I have to ask you guys about something else. Did you guys ever hear? I read this somewhere, and I can't tell you where. So this is one of those that I don't know the accuracy of it. So you guys are gonna have to tell me if you've heard it or if you know it to be true or where I even fucking read it at this point. Something about one of the girls was hit in the head. Did you guys hear that? One of the girls was like knocked unconscious, like hit in the head. Where are Abby's jeans? People say you can see them in the picture from the leaked stuff from the river. I don't believe that. I'll show you the pictures and tell you why I don't believe that. Because I think people are thinking it's this picture. Because they're always like, up in the corner, you can see her jeans. Right here. I think that's a shadow. No, opposite. Abby had on Libby's jeans, and Abby's jeans are supposedly in the river. Nope, yes. I'd heard on Gray Hughes that one side of Abby's head had been beaten. Yeah. He shouldn't even have the opportunity to be able to do it. Something about a branch, but not pistol whipped. Okay. Alligator, I know I can't keep up anymore. And it's exhausting. This is like a full-time job. Like legit. There's so much to it. If anybody ever tried to draw like a crime map when it came to like this case, I don't even know how they would do it. Right. So, but what about dressing them in the other clothes? Who leaked these? No idea. These were back in like January of this year. These came out. So let me show you the other picture and why I think that is not her jeans. Nope, that's the same one. It's this one. Because if you look Here's the shoe. This just is from the other angle. Like there's the shoe, bottom of the shoe here. And then you see the shadow that's right here? It's like this is the supposed pair of underwear. We don't know that it's actually underwear. I cannot tell by looking at the picture right here. And I think that's the shadow that you're seeing right here, that people think that's the jeans. But you can actually see the light colors of the tie-dye shirt right here, which is right here. So I don't think that this is what people are trying to say is jeans. I don't think so. The only other picture that was leaked is this one. And I don't see anything but that sock. I don't, well, maybe. I don't, you can't tell what that is for anybody to say it is jeans or not, or just slop. But, yeah, I don't know. They say this is the sock. That's why there's one sock and one pair of underwear missing. A sign of remorse to cover or dress someone. I'm just wondering if like if he dressed her in that because that's what he had left. The other question is where is Abby's sweatshirt? She's wearing Libby's sweatshirt. So Abby's jeans and Abby's sweatshirt, which was technically Kelsey's sweatshirt. I don't know where either one of those are, but we know that they said they found clothes in the water. So my thought is like, were the clothes already in the water? You know, they always say like about crossing. What if the girls, this is pure speculation again, just to preface, the girls were undressed on the south side. The clothes are carried over the river. Some are dropped. And that's what's left. And so that's what he dresses Abby in because that's what's left. Everything else was dropped in the water. And he wants to make sure that Abby's dressed. Oh, thanks for joining, Tori. I thought you already were a member. I predict the Odinus memo for Franks will be withdrawn from record by the new defense attorneys. Ari will be tried with his admissions of guilt, original evidence, and he will be found guilty. Cover-up succeeds. I am interested to see what the new defense attorneys decide to do. We don't even have new defense attorneys yet, so. Yeah, that's why I'm like, did they like grab their clothes and try to run away and some of the clothes just dropped? And that's how they end up in the water because they just tried to, they were already stripped, which is why the clothes wouldn't be wet. Oh, let me see what you said, Shelly. Why would two bras? I know. Oh, she said that also. But then they're saying Aries fired that there's no sign of a struggle. They didn't fight. So it's like it contradicts it. It's so weird. We already read that one. Former sheriff and now the handyman. And yeah, maybe. That's very possible. Very possible. And then this is another thing I was talking to ATS because like I tell you guys, I bounce all my stuff off of her because I'm like, okay, I don't want to sound like, I literally sound like I wear a tinfoil hat all day when I really don't. What if they were killed in the water? And if you look at, oh, do I have it in here? If you look at the drawings from the crime scene photos like that Snay and Gray Hughes did, what if, here, let me pull one up. Her arm is up because that's how he pulled her up. That's how he dragged her there. Drags her that way with the one arm. Her arms are in like this weird position where they're closer to her face, if she's dragged by her armpits, would that make her arms fall that way? So they take their clothes off on the one side. Oh, yeah, Tom. That's a good point. If she's dragged by her feet, and then her arms kind of go to that position from being dragged, like naturally. I thought there was drag marks that somebody, one of the two of them, I don't remember which one now, said that by one of the bodies they could kind of see a little, it could have been drag marks. But I know Snake said they were too zoomed in to see anything around it, because that was another question I had asked him before, because everybody said there's no blood, right? And I was thinking, well, in the crime scene, do you even see the tree? Do you see the tree that's got the F on it? Because that's supposedly where the blood would be, right? Right? Wouldn't it be down there? Moved a short distance. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Would these be positions that you dragged somebody and this is just how they landed? Okay, then it must have been gray. That says, I remember one of them said that one of them looked like they had drag marks around it. I just don't remember which one said it. There were 2 crime scenes roped off. Right, one for where they were quote unquote kidnapped at the south end of the bridge, and the other one for where their bodies were found. No, see, that's what I was thinking though, is if the phone is in her pocket, say it's in her back pocket, and it just comes out of the pocket. It just falls out, and now it's under her because he put Libby's jeans on her. So if it's in her pocket, it just falls there. You don't think they were dragged? You think they were purposely placed like that? Okay. Okay, so that was Abby that you had heard was hit hard on the head and either cut or cause of death. In that leaked pre-audio, whatever it was for that documentary, they talked about her being stabbed in the heart, but that's not, nobody's mentioned that in any court documents. He said Libby's hair looked wet, right? You think they're posed like tarot cards? What tarot card would Libby be in? But the shoe. That's a good point. Damn shoe. Like carried there? Well, Shelly, if you, in the helicopter footage, I'm sure you guys have all seen that. There's 2 separate helicopters, but in the helicopter footage that WRTV has, you see the searchers, they're like walking, and then they go back. And they go back to that tree, which is the tree they're found by. Do I have it? I don't. Hold on. Let me pull it up. I think there was a channel that had this one. I don't think they'll care if I use their channel, but if they do, I guess I'll just have to cut this part out. I don't know who this is, so. The Magician. Okay, I have the Hangman one. Let me see. Magician Tarot. Oh, that's interesting. The one hand up. Okay. Okay, like right here. Where are they? Not the commentary, just the video. Not those guys. Maybe it's in here. Yep, right here. Okay. Let me see if I can find the spot. I don't think there's one on the private drive. And I'll tell you, so by the private drive is where Kelsey was standing with the other cops. And she said that's when they called up to her and asked about it. So I think that's where the private drive comes in, Spicy. Unless you know something that I don't, like, that maybe I don't know. Because I think that's just because Kelsey was standing there and that's where she heard about the original. That's where the original shoe story comes from. Okay, hold on. But did I miss the other part that I wanted to show you? Maybe not. Okay, so right here, this is the fallen tree, right? They're found up there. So this guy right here stops and turns back. Like, did he see like scuff marks? What does he see that the helicopter moves? So we don't get to see what he actually sees. Yeah, it was, they say it was thigh to waist high that day. But see, like, they're over here checking that out. And the girls are found up here. They're found in here. And the crime scene, you know that that's where they're found because the crime scene that's taped off over here is on the sides of that tree. Can I slow it down? Yeah. How slow you want to go? 0.5? Go back. Yeah, ginger snaps. I want that. It's just like he stops and turns. So something is here. Piece of clothing, marks going up. Check out, I don't know if you can see it from this picture. This is like 4 foot at least. Like almost, it's at a little bit of an angle, but you'd have to, I mean, you'd have to climb up that. See, then they go on that side. And then over here, this is south side, which is the private drive, which is where Kelsey was. So that's why I think that they say shoe on private drive, because they, whoever supposedly Once again, I still cannot find any solid like confirmation on how would David Erskine have found the shoe on the private drive if David Erskine was on Ron Logan's side finding the bodies. And I don't mean that like snarky towards you. I mean it snarky towards I can't figure out who the hell was on which side. Abby wasn't supposed to have anything like that. She wasn't supposed to have a Facebook. She wasn't supposed to have a phone. I've heard for years that she really did have a phone, but it's never been proven, so I don't know if it's true. And I know that Anna said she did have a Facebook that she wasn't supposed to have, and she was talking to a boy. She wasn't supposed to have a boyfriend yet. So I'm just supposedly that John Jakes or Jake Johns or whatever the hell his name is, JJ, was on the south side and was the one using the camera, and he supposedly saw the clothing and then some deer or whatever, and I don't even know what the true story is on that. And so that's where he like yells up the hill. Kelsey says he yells up the hill and says, "Hey, what kind of shoes were the girls wearing?" "We found a black Nike." And she said, "Yeah, that's what my sister was wearing," or whatever. She used Libby's iPad. Okay, let me see. I think it might be right before they show that. There's another spot that looks like it's definitely, and people said that there's probably like a lot of trash and stuff around there, so it's hard to tell from like this distance what anything is. And I know that people have zoomed in and it gets so pixelated that I just don't know how anybody sees anything. I've seen devil horns, I've seen teddy bears, and I've seen all kinds of weird stuff. Let me see if I can get to it. It's like another spot where the helicopter, there's like a spot in the water that almost looks like it has the pile of clothes on it. Where is it? Is it that? No, right there. Hold on, shit. There it is. Just showed it. I mean, it's good imaging to like understand and be able to see like the lay of the land, and obviously like what the foliage was lacking that day. Did I miss it again? Because I was talking? Probably. Freaking idiot. Not there. Not there. Right there. See? Like a bunch of garbage. Like, is that the top of a Nike shoe? I know, I'm gonna be. See, I'm like totally like in the conspiracy, but like that's the way that the Nike shoe's like laying. Like you can see the sole of the white Nike shoe. Okay, hold on. Someone on Reddit said that Baldwin's lawyer didn't go into the chambers. It was Reddit, so grain of salt. But if he didn't go in, how could it be over the leaks? Oh, that's interesting. I wonder how they know that he didn't go in. So this is my conundrum with this, and I've asked in almost every Facebook group I can think of. about who was on what side and who was in what group. Because David Erskine says that he was with his other sister's boyfriend / husband. That's Ello. Ello is not named in any of the groups for whatever reason. He's like non-existent. But that's his other sister's boyfriend / husband. And the group that supposedly found the girls was Pat Brown, Michelle, and David Erskine. But that doesn't make sense if David Erskine is with Ello. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm like 6.5 years and can't even figure out who the hell was on which side of what. I want to know who found the bullet. Yeah. Yeah. After I saw the magician one too. And they said the hangman is Odin and the magician is Loki. And Loki's the bad one, which would make her naked and the target and a problem. And Odin is taken care of, which would be Abby. No, did I say the opposite? Right, yeah. Odin is Abby, so she'd be taken care of and clothed and whatever else. The Rockaways, I know. Where have you been? Such a mess. I've seen it up close. What part have you seen up close? What have you seen? Like the crime scene, you mean? A bar grievance filed by the prosecution is most likely the reason for defense counsel withdrawal. Wouldn't we see that? Has anybody checked to see if they put out a statement? I can't believe they didn't put out a statement today. Maybe tomorrow. Banterline is a local. Okay. So, did you see the crime scene like after the fact, or like were you able to see something up close? I guess that's, I don't know what part. I don't think any of these guys are in a real Odinist cult so much as a loose mishmash of very nationalistic, cultured influence gangs. I agree with you. And I think that they think they're Odinists or whatever, and this is like this is what they do. I agree. I just don't think it matters because nothing was going to happen. Nothing was going to happen. Nothing was going to happen to these attorneys right now anyway. She could fine them. She could do whatever she wanted, but they weren't going to go away. So why did they walk? If you ever figure out who's on first, what will it change about the murders and who is responsible? It wouldn't. It would tell me who had access to the pictures that I was just showing and who would be able to take screenshots of the metadata and how that leak is not this leak. That's what I want to know. And I also just think it's silly that after 6.5 years, that is information that's under wraps and close to the vest. It can't be. Yes. Okay, Unmasked Truth. I have heard this, that it was Abby's blood on Loki, but I don't know where that came from. I don't remember that from the memorandum. I don't know where it came from that it was Abby's blood on Libby. It was Libby's blood on the tree. But I don't know whose blood was on Libby. I thought they said that she looked like Libby. I don't know where that is and where that's coming from. Let's get rid of that. Let's find it and get rid of it. Really? I'll have to look into that. Oh, like Libby. Okay, yeah, thank you. So you think that would be like a don't like my daughter kind of thing? And so, because that's typically what it is, isn't like serial killers go after the women who remind them of their mothers? I'm reading through what you guys are saying. They appear to be rejected. They're not allowed to play Acid True anymore. Unmasked Truth. I've heard that. I've heard that. I don't know. I don't remember where I've heard it or where I read it, but I have heard that, and I don't have anything to back it up. And the bodies are supposedly pics of a computer screen, right? I know. I said that too. And then I asked about the pictures of the bodies, and they're taken during the day, and the tree pictures taken at night. Really? That's funny that you say that now, because I literally was just talking about that. That I bet we could find connections between all these people based on their kids. And so then my question is now, if they went to school together, then who in law enforcement has a kid that would have gone to school with them too? Or any of, you know what I'm saying? Like any of those. Just saw a photo of Frango's lower back tattoo. What? No way. Yep, I think so too. Oh, my chat just went all crazy. Hold on, babe. I can hear you over there.
Where?
Over there.
Where?
Tiny human has tried to creep in.
No, I'm not.
Oh,
I'm right next to you.
okay.
You can look to your side.
Yep. And it is. It is. Now we don't even have one.
Have what?
We don't even know when we're gonna get one.
Have what?
Jeremy. Babe, you gotta go inside. Go.
What do you mean we're gonna have?
Well, if your religion is verbatim the same as the other one, you can have a conversation. From my understanding, Jeannie, they are not bound by the gag order any longer, but they will not be able to talk much still because they're still bound by attorney-client privilege. Yep, that's the same. Like I'm not defending him. I don't even know the dude. It's not going to change my life if this man is guilty or innocent. I just want to make sure that our justice system is doing the right thing here. And I just feel like there's some corruption. All right, my tiny human needs me. We've been on here for 3 hours, and I don't even know what I'm saying anymore at this point. So I'm going to wrap it up, and tomorrow I'm going to, I think, malicious intent. Are you still here or no? I think she's going to do a live on her channel that I'm going to be hanging out in, but I don't know if it's confirmed or not. So, and then ATS News, are you still here? Because I know you go live on Fridays. Are you doing Delphi tomorrow? Be crazy if them attorneys come on social media and tell all. Hell yeah, it would. Hell yeah, it would. I'll be like, I'll interview you. I'll interview you. Come on here. We can chat. No, but I do want to try to get a hold of Julie and see if I can chat with her. I think she can answer a lot of some of just my simple questions. Okay, I will talk to you guys later, and I hope that you guys have a great night. And I should probably be back sometime either this weekend or Monday. All right, have a good one, everybody.